Hello, friends. I'm Andrea Morris, along with Lucas Sluzar, my producer extraordinaire, and we are here for another episode of Spill the Wine, our podcast, which is obviously about wine. This is a really exciting episode for us on so many levels because it's our first episode with a live audience. So, thank you guys for all being here tonight. It's also our 50th episode, which is really exciting for us. And it's our second time here at Wending Home Estates with Ron.
I've been here more than twice, though.
You have been, yes. And thank you for agreeing to do this again. It's so much fun to talk to you.
My pleasure.
I don't know if any of you guys heard the first episode we did with Ron, where he coined one of my favorite phrases in the entire world, which was Chardonnay is the chicken of the vineyard.
Oh, that one. Okay.
That one, not the other one. Yeah, we were having a conversation about Chardonnay, and he was just like, just offhand, just kind of very like, what? Chardonnay is the chicken of the vineyard. And I was like, what? And you said?
Well, Chardonnay is everywhere. So are chickens. Chardonnay is made in so many different styles, and chicken is basically a magnet for flavor. And Chardonnay works very much the same way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So whenever someone says to me, oh, I don't like Chardonnay, I said, no, you just haven't found the right one for you yet. And then I reference your chicken analogy, and it all makes sense to people. Mm-hmm. So I think that's like, for me, that was one of my favorite episodes because of we just laughed so hard that entire episode. And it was also that it just made Chardonnay much more approachable to anybody that always thinks it's like, oh, oaky California.
Right. And it isn't, and it is, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It can be anything because Chardonnay has so many possibilities.
And we make styles here that are still have a wide range, but are decidedly different than kind of that really big oaky style.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But they still have that softness and that.
Sure, of course. And yet there's still some minerality, brightness, and structure that isn't in a lot of butterballs.
It's not the turkey of the vineyard, Ron. It's the chicken.
And buttered chicken is totally fine.
So it's been like almost 2 years since we chatted the first time. Tell me what's new and exciting at Wending, except for the one thing that we're going to talk about later.
Okay. Well, we are busy in the vineyards. We're busy in the winery. We've got a bottling coming up. We've got lots of things that we're going to be putting in bottle that are really exciting. And 2025 was just an incredibly good vintage. And so we are really trying to pull out all the stops to make some great wines from that vintage. And Ying right now, my partner, is in China. So she is taking a well-deserved vacation there. She's away for altogether about 5 weeks. And when she comes back, I will have totally changed this place.
Well, it's all going to be done up in Habs colors?
That's it, yeah. Wearing my Habs jersey today because, of course, we're in the playoffs. And I'm wearing my Maurice the Rocket Richard jersey that was given to me by another employee at Henry of Pelham when he knew that I was such a Habs fan. So, yeah.
Amazing. Yay, good for you. And by the time this podcast episode airs, we will know who made it and won the Stanley Cup. But let's just pretend now that it's the Habs. And
let's
so
go
excited.
Habs. Yeah.
Yay!
And how about that Newfoundlander, Alex Newhook? Oh my gosh, isn't he great?
You should make a wine for him. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
So speaking of wine, we've got a variety in front of us that is very unique to this winery.
It's a variety that doesn't sprout up everywhere around the world the way we were talking about Chardonnay. But it is related. It is a sibling to Chardonnay in terms of its genetics.
Really?
Yeah. But it's grown in Alsace. So the part of France or France now, it's gone back and forth between Germany and France so many times in the 18th, 19th, 20th centuries that they speak German, they speak their Germanic dialect, they speak, of course, French. And this is all people there. And then, of course, most of them speak English as well. So it's a really cosmopolitan little area of France.
It's like a melting pot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so this grape
is from there. And it is, if you think of Pinot Blanc, it's sometimes said that it's very, very similar to Pinot Blanc. I don't quite get that. It's got a real, as Deborah was saying the other day when she was describing it here to some customers, it starts off with a real melon sort of note. And I love that about it. And I love the way Deborah described that. It's also a fresh wine. So this wine will hang around for a while for sure and continue to taste fresh. But it's certainly best when it's consumed a little cool, not cold, and when it's somewhat youthful. So right now, this is a 2023. It's the only vintage that we will ever make of this variety.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And that is because we had to pull it out. The vineyard was in pretty rough shape after, about 30 years, almost 30 years, missing a lot of vines. And so I wanted to give it its swan song because we've used it in blends with our Wending North. And I liked it there. It had a nice place in that blend. But here it is on its own.
It's got a really nice nose to it. I do smell that bit of melon on it, Deborah.
Mm-hmm. And it's not soft, but it's not acidic. It's kind of in the middle zone there. So it's a really nice, fresh food wine. I wouldn't say that it would overwhelm anybody with sort of its opulence or its really aromatic characteristics or its flavors or its spiciness. Nothing like that. But it's really got a nice sort of middle feel that is fantastic with all kinds of foods. It's just a great wine. And it is grown around here a little bit. So there are some other growers that have Auxerois, but very often it just ends up in somewhere in a blend. And there have been wineries that have produced it fairly often, like Cave Springs did. I don't know if they do anymore. Chateau des Charmes did. They definitely don't do that one anymore. But so it's been out there in the industry for probably 40 or 50 years.
Now, since you've pulled yours out, how will that affect future vintages of the Wending North?
Well, what we put in its place is Viognier.
Oh,
and
okay.
So we planted Viognier because we like the variety and we think that it has a place here. So we'll see. This year, we're hoping for its first very small crop. So far, we've been buying Viognier grapes from a grape grower that I know in Niagara on the Lake, Rick Smith. And we've got a few really nice vintages of that coming on stream soon, too. And yeah.
So how much more is left of this then?
I don't know. We only bottled just over a pallet, I think. So a pallet is 56 cases. And we're, well through, not through, but we're well into that.
So get it while you can.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
Hoard it because you won't have it anymore.
I wouldn't hoard it.
Oh, shh.
Yeah.
So when you're looking for it, someone can come in and go like, "Oh, I have a case.
Mm-hmm.
Did you want it?" Will you save some for back vintages?
I doubt it, because it's just not the kind of wine that It may plateau, and it may still be very acceptable for another few years, but it's not the kind of wine that you say after another 3 or 5 years, oh, wow, I should have put them all away.
Oh, so it's
Right.
like a drink it now.
Yeah, it is,
And
really.
enjoy it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it is quite refreshing. The color of it is beautiful.
A little bit of green in there.
Yeah, like green
Yeah.
apple
Yeah,
almost,
yeah.
you know? It's very inviting and a nice summertime wine, I think. Yeah. I like it.
Thank you. That's great.
So I hear we have another varietal that is unique to you as well.
Yes. So growing side by side with the Auxerois is a variety that I knew of before I came here, but I hadn't tried it. I hadn't tried making it. It's called Ehrenfelser. So the word A, which we all know as Canadians, right? And Bonnie. So it's a very Canadian grape knot. It started out its life in Germany in the 1920s. It was bred by a grape breeder there, and it is a crossing, not a hybrid, because hybrids are interspecies crossings, and this is within the vinifera family or species. So it was between Riesling, which is, of course, a great grape in both Alsace and Germany, all over the place, and a really almost unknown grape from Alsace called Knipperle. K-N, and you actually do pronounce the K and the N, which is not like knife, right? Knife. And that variety is virtually gone from Alsace, and even Ehrenfelser, which had a popularity in the sort of 60s and 70s in Germany, and that faded afterwards. There isn't much grown there anymore. There's a little bit in British Columbia. So there are a few wineries making Ehrenfelser there. But it's a soft, floral, and the floralness is really enticing to me. It's like a elderflower or acacia blossom or something like that. It's really, really pleasant and attractive. But it's a little softer than Riesling. And in Germany, the reason that they came up with these, like just a huge list of these crossings, was because what they were after was a grape variety that was kind of like Riesling, but they thought, let's make it better. So for them at that time, better meant that it would be earlier to ripen. It would be higher in sugar, because the Germans were all about, in their classification system there, it's all about the sweetness. And as you climb up the ladder in sweetness, that's when the wines get more expensive. And so they wanted that, and they wanted it to be lower in acidity, because Riesling is really tart. Now, we look back and we think, well, that wasn't really very smart, because Riesling is so wonderful because it has the acidity. And so it's a little of this and that, but Ehrenfelser is its own variety. I really like it. It grows great in our Wending North blend as well. It's been the sort of the first variety in these blends, and I love it.
Will you continue to do that as it's a vintage on its own?
Yeah, I will, not every year, but I will definitely, use it for sure. Yeah.
Because it's just so nice and light. And
Yeah,
I just find that it pairs so perfectly with fish.
Mm-hmm. And what I like is, okay, let's take two very Germanic grape varieties, Riesling and Gewürztraminer. And Gewürz is sort of on the very soft side, very aromatic, but in an aromatics towards the spicy and the sort of orange peel and ginger notes and lychee, of course, and roses. And Riesling is more in this high acidity tart, but citrusy, and yes, some florality and some fruit, but a little more subdued. And then Ehrenfelser, and many of those crossings that I mentioned from Germany, Oraniensteiner, Reichensteiner, Optima, Siegerrebe, and the Germans, after I've named those varieties, what do they do worst? Naming things, right? So, and Ehrenfelser, right? It's not the kind of thing that just trips off your tongue.
Dornfelder.
Dornfelder. That just sounds like,
Sounds like a plane.
To me, it sounds like the naughty boy who was told to sit in the corner. You Dornfelder.
That's neat.
So yeah. The Germans have a talent for that.
Yeah, with kooky names, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that is a really lovely wine.
Thanks.
It's interesting how it's so different than the Auxerois, because I find that the Ehrenfelser is a lot lighter,
Yeah.
and I find it more easy drinking, actually.
It is, yeah. We just had some the other day, Kathy, and I loved it. Yeah.
What made you decide to just do it as a one-off of a one-off on its own?
Well,
because I know you've used it so much in the blends.
Yeah, and I like it there for sure. But again, let's see what people think of Ehrenfelser on its own, right? It's not common, so I think that it would be curious for people. I know that I've done a dinner here that we did a few years back where we did the Wending North and the Wending South, and we did all of the grape varieties individually that go into them. And most of these weren't commercial wines. They were either tank samples or wines that I'd made for home or something like that. And then, we tasted the blend, which it was supposed to be leading up to the blend. But, the individuals are really interesting.
That's kind of fun.
Yeah.
And it's something that makes Wending unique.
You know what? On the Dornfelder, I've always said, I don't make this on its own because to me, it's not a super complete grape for wine. It has many things that are attractive. It's really dark in color. It is softer. It is like the tannins are very, very easygoing tannins in that wine. And the berry fruit in there is amazing. So those are the positive things. But when I say that the tannins are softer, it's almost sometimes to the point that they're not there. And another grape that I know really well is Baco Noir. And that's a hybrid grape variety that is super dark and is kind of fleshy and very berryish and doesn't have much tannin at all. And so I think of Dornfelder as kind of our vinifera. It's not a hybrid, but our vinifera sort of Baco Noir stand-in.
So could you actually take the Dornfelder and mix it with another grape and just have like a...
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, can I interrupt here?
Yes.
For our guest that's coming in?
Yes.
This is George or Georgi. I practiced it, met your last name, George. I'm sorry. Megrelashvili.
I'll edit it so it sounds like you just said it.
Yeah. And George comes to us from Georgia, George from Georgia, which is the birthplace of all winemaking in the world. All grapes in the world come originally through plantings, and they still have many plantings there, many different varieties. And George comes to us from Georgia last August. You arrived? Yes, from Kakheti, but you've only been here for 7 or 8 months, right? Yeah. And so George and I are having fun in the cellars together. He is fluent in German, and I am, as George says, du hast Kindersprache, which is like child speak. And but we make each other understood somehow. And so George is very interested in our methods here. He's very adept in the vineyard as well. And we've yet to sort of see what that brings if he's at all interested and can perform there. But right now, boy, do I need George in the cellars. So that's where we're strapped in together for now. But welcome, George.
Welcome, George. So I guess that's not the only new thing that we're going to talk about.
No. Are we into that already?
Is it that time?
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
So
We're going to take just a time out for a second.
Okay.
And then we'll talk about
Oh, yeah, there is something new
thing.
for sure. And we will talk more about that in a minute.
Yeah. So we've got something else that's brand new and exciting to talk about.
But we are launching a new label for Wending Home, and it is all about small batches. And the white that you have is going to be one of those wines. And I call this the détente Riesling. And the reason why détente, first of all, what does détente mean? It means that it's a easing of tensions, sort of a relaxation. And that is what this wine is for. It's a Riesling, and in an odd sort of twist, it's a non-vintage Riesling. This wine contains 4 different vintages, 21, 23, 24, and 25. And it is spanning those years because, A, it gives it a little bit of complexity, but still keeps it very fresh. And I don't know what you think of this wine yet, but give it a smell. It's, I think, really fresh. It's a little appley. It's got some citrus notes as well. And although I lean towards dry Rieslings, there's a reason why this one is sweeter. It's, in technical speak, it's about 22 grams per liter of residual sugar, which is sort of in definitely Riesling ballpark. The acidity's up there at just over 7. Nice low pH, so it keeps it fresh longer. But alcohol, it's only 8.5%. And that's another way that this word détente fits into it. You can relax with it and have more than one glass, for one thing, but the word détente is part of the process that was used to make that alcohol lower, and it was by mistake. So I'll tell you the story. In 2021, we had some Riesling that came in, and in your house, you probably see occasionally, especially in the fall, some ladybugs, and they may congregate. And if you've ever squished one, they're kind of stinky. No? Mm-hmm. And no, you don't squish them. Okay, yeah, got it. And well, I kind of do because 2001 was a year when I was making wine at Henry of Pelham. And it was the first year that these things came up in hordes and just totally decimated the harvest with these. We didn't realize that there was a real problem at the time, But when these came in with the grapes, it ruined millions and millions of liters of wine that year. So for me, they're a scourge that I just don't want to have there. But since then, one of the things that's come up is this process called flash détente. And it's meant to be used with grapes, sometimes with juice, but it's a process where the must usually, but in this case it was finished wine, goes through a flash heating process and then into a chamber where a vacuum is drawn. And when that vacuum hits a certain low point, the vacuum is immediately, instantaneously released. And what happens then? It will draw off some of the, get technical here, the lower molecular weight volatile components, and that happens to be just what these ladybugs emit. What it also takes away is, and this isn't an issue with juice or with crushed grapes, alcohol. So the wine that went in, because the grapes had some ladybugs that were tainting this wine, and I thought, what am I going to do? And I talked to my friend Thierry Lemaire, and he had this mobile flash détente unit that was operating in the peninsula. And so I said, let's try putting this through because I think it might work. It did, although the alcohol went from over 11% down to 6%. And then this wine hung around in my cellars here for a number of years before I thought, well, it really is nice, but how can I use this 6% wine? And then I thought, wait a minute. You guys probably realize that the world is changing with regards to wine consumption or any alcoholic beverage consumption. And lower alcohol is definitely a trend. And for me, it's a trend that I'm not altogether happy about because I think that some wines just definitely need alcohol in order to create the characteristics that we want in a wine. But one of them that doesn't really need that, not nearly as much anyway, is Riesling. And so I thought, okay, but if it doesn't have the alcohol, then it probably needs something else to fill in a little bit. So a little bit of sweetness, but that works well with Riesling. And then I started to build with taking a little bit of the 23 and the 24, and then the 25, the portion that was 25 was the sweet reserve. So you take juice and you add it to wine. What does that do? It lowers the alcohol again, right? But it gives you sweetness, and it gives you mouthfeel, and it gives you fresh fruit. So these are the things that I put together with this wine that I'm calling détente Riesling. And it's 8.5% alcohol. Like I said, about 22 grams of sugar. And I'm pretty sure this one isn't going to come along again.
And how many cases will you make of that?
Somewhere around 200.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yep.
So it could last for a little while.
Yeah, it lasts for a little while. Yep.
Yeah. But it's really refreshing. And because of the low alcohol, it's a great summertime wine.
And that's exactly what I wanted, why I wanted to get it out there in the summer. And this will be out, it'll be bottled June 1st or 2nd. And it'll be, on our shelves not that long after that.
Wow.
Yeah. And we've got others in this whole stable of wines that I won't get into today, but all of them have this story like the Riesling did. And some of them are mistakes. Some of them are just sort of, well, I won't do that again. Not necessarily because it's not good, but because it's just not our main direction, perhaps. I could be persuaded otherwise, one of the things is that once a wine is made, any wine is an individual product that won't be repeated perfectly ever again. So there may be some of them that occur again, and I like that. And when I said about 200 cases, that's one of the larger batches of wines that we have under that label.
Well, because you probably had a lot of Riesling.
Yeah. But only, that adds up from the 4 vintages that I've used. So it's like not that much from each one, right?
Are you still going to do a 25 Riesling?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
an estate, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but that'll stick into the mold that I would like to pursue longer term, and that is estate grown and drier and riper. And so those are the things that kind of fit into my mold for Riesling, and all of those things are definitely there in the 25.
I'm excited to try that when it comes out. Yeah. Because really, isn't every vintage, every bottle a stamp in time?
Yeah, and I used to tell my students too, well, tell me which of these wines is a blend, and some of them would be obviously varietal blends or something like that. And so for this one, if it's non-vintage, then obviously there's a blend involved, right? But I said, yeah, but okay, what about this Chardonnay? Oh, yeah, okay, but it's Chardonnay, and it's from one vintage. Yeah, but did it come from different farms? Did it get made in separate barrels or different tanks? So then it's blended before bottling. They're all blends. Almost any wine you can think of is somehow a blend.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have a red wine.
Mm-hmm. And this one won't be out in June or anytime really soon. It's very, very fresh. But it's one that I wanted to try.
And what is this?
Anybody have any idea? So this is from some friends of mine who will remain nameless because we had to buy these grapes sort of under the table. And one of the reasons why, it's a variety that recently came into the VQA fold. Before that, it wasn't a VQA authorized variety. Now it is. And it's called Marquette. And I call the wine Farmers Marquette.
You're so punny.
And Marquette is a hybrid. But it's a hybrid that is different. I was talking about the characteristics of Baco. This one isn't as deeply colored. It's nicely colored, but it's not super, super deep. And this has just a little bit of tannin firmness in it. And the fruit characteristic is much more, let's call it vinifera-like, but it's unique too. I get, for me, I get sort of a brambly raspberry kind of note with this one. And it's kind of like maybe an Ontario Zinfandel. But it doesn't like mirror or mimic really any other wine that I can think of.
It's really unique.
Mm-hmm. And it's barrel aged. It's been in barrel now for 6 or 7 months. And it will be in barrel for another year. So it will be just a little less fresh and a little more mellow, but it's still going to retain that kind of zippiness and the sort of the fresh fruit characteristics that are there. And I think this is an interesting wine for food matching too. I don't think that it needs to, be relegated to, just this or just that. But I like it because it seems like a nice versatile wine in a way similar to Gamay in that respect. But I think it's, something that I'm interested in pursuing in a thought process, but I doubt that I will ever make this again.
I think it has a little bit more there's something a little bit more complex than a Gamay going on with it.
Okay, yeah. It will have a little bit of seriousness to it by the time it rolls around.
Well, I'm
another
thinking,
year.
another year in a barrel. This
yeah.
could be.
Yeah. And how it ages, really don't know, but we'll see, right?
I really like this concept. Some really interesting ideas with wine that
And I've always been all about that. Ever since I started out home winemaking, I've been all about trying different things. And that's what kind of piques my curiosity, keeps me going.
I mean, exactly, because it also makes your winery unique in the fact that, you can get a Riesling or a Cab Franc or a Merlot or from anywhere, really.
And that's fine.
But it doesn't mean that they're all,
because I want
right.
the region to specialize in some things too.
Yes,
Yeah.
but to know that you have these little gems that nobody else does is really, it makes you very unique and very special.
Well, it's just fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Special. I can certainly mimic being special, right, Kathy? It doesn't take much imagination, and I'm special.
But you also put your own personal touch to your winemaking, which this really is you.
Mm-hmm.
It's. I think it's a really good signature wine for you.
I was turned on to Marquette this past summer. We were coming home from Newfoundland, and we stopped off at a little winery, the only winery in New Brunswick, which is called Magnetic Hill Winery. Now,
I've been there.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
good. Yeah, it's a beautiful winery.
Yeah, it's a really nice winery.
And it looks as though it's, one of many because they've got everything going there. They've got the view. They've got the beautiful fireplace. They've got, a whole range of wines that they grow there too. And the grapes, I mean. And so I was really impressed by all of that. And also by some of the grape varieties. And they use Marquette a lot because Marquette is one that can survive temperatures down to below minus 30 Celsius. Yeah. And still, like the growers where these grapes came from, I talked to in, was it 2014 or 15? And they said, oh, but the Marquette's okay. And it was in a low spot and they hit minus 31. So, yeah.
Were you ever planted here?
I don't think so. But, if somebody else does, if somebody else thinks that my wine is something that inspires them to do it, then I'm absolutely tickled about something like that.
Yeah. You're an influencer.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I might start a podcast.
If you want some tips, just come and talk to me. Yeah. So what do you think? Should we open up the floor for questions?
Sure. Let's do that.
Yeah, because this is our first time doing a podcast with a studio audience, so we would love.
If you do have a question, I'm going to give you a microphone.
Yeah. So does anyone have a question they'd like to ask to me or Ron? Oh, we've got a question. We've got a question. Yay!
With this lovely winter we had with the polar vortex hanging around, have you had to change the plans for this summer? And were there a lot of grapes lost or vines lost?
No. This past winter was not terrible. So we had some temperatures that were very close to being detrimental. And some of them, did a little bit. So what you do as a grower in conditions like this is generally we cane prune here, which means that there's some of the growth from last year is what you keep for this year, but it's a longer cane from last year. And generally we keep 2. This year we left 3. Some growers left 4. And then about this time of year, you go through with a crew and they look at it vine by vine. And if they see that, that side of the vine where that one was tied down is really weak and doesn't have very many buds, then you may tie down that third cane over on that side. Or most of the time here this year, we're seeing that 85% of them, we're just clipping off that third cane and saying, it's balanced. So you're always looking for balance in the vine. And that means the right number of buds, which turns into the right number of shoots, which turns into the right number of clusters for the vine of that size, of that age. And in our region, like no other, it's a vine-to-vine evaluation that you do as a pruner. So you need really good pruners.
Do you have a dream? Do you have a dream grape that you would like to work with that you haven't worked with yet?
I have a lot of grapes that I'd like to work with, but it's just beyond the pale for us to consider them. So, sure, I'd like to grow high altitude Malbec, but I don't see any, 1,000-meter mountains here, nor do I see any conditions like that, right? But yeah, it'd be fun. And, friends of mine, Peter Gamble and Sperling, do have a place in Argentina where they've got 100-year-old Malbec vines growing at high altitudes. And so I can go and visit them. Yeah.
Ron, you said that 2025 was an amazing year.
Yeah.
And you've got some new varietals coming out. What are some of those varietals that you've got that you could be surprising us with?
Well, okay. I'll tell you one more story about our own farm here. We started growing just 3 rows of Vidal. A number of years, maybe 7 years ago, we put it in. But due to conditions of not really keeping up with that particular part of the vineyard as well as we should, the first crop was last year. And so last year, these 3 rows of Vidal, which are growing right beside the Chardonnay, and I had to bring in a mechanical harvester for the last few rows of Chardonnay because the grapes were getting too ripe. The hand crew was not moving fast enough. I wasn't able to press as much as I should because my press is really little. I was even using some off-site pressing at another winery. So we are to the point, though, I just had to bring it in. And so I said, okay, Bill, go out there and harvest those last few rows of Chardonnay. And he did. And he didn't realize that the grapes right beside it were not Chardonnay. Now, Bill's been in here he knows our vineyard, I thought, as well as I did. But he harvested them together. So, and luckily the Vidal was definitely dead ripe. So it was not a problem that way, but once you've put these things together in a bin, you don't separate them again. And so we have now a Vidal / Chardonnay.
Anyone else?
So, Ron, I'm kind of intrigued by the low alcohol content.
That particular one, the détente Riesling, it came about, as I was saying, as a sort of a, what do I do with this first? And then a realization that, hey, wait a minute, everybody wants this, it seems, or at least not everybody perhaps, but there's a lot of people that want lower alcohol wines.
Calorie-wise person here. So
Yeah.
What is the calorie content?
Oh, I haven't calculated that. But with the
Interesting.
22 gram per liter of sugar that's there, that of course raises the calories in that glass as well. So I can calculate it, but I haven't. Okay, I will.
Thank you, Robin. So just piggyback on Robin's question there with regards to the détente Riesling, you said you was 21, 23, 24, 25. Why did you skip 22?
We had 0 grapes in 2022. We had nothing. So 2023 2021 and actually into the 2022 winter was severe. And lots of places had either light crops and what pulled the region through in terms of any amount of grape was the Vidal, sort of the hybrid, the Baco. There was a lot of vinifera that just was not there in 2022. And where it was there, the crop was really tiny. Some of it was really good, but we had zero. So at a certain point, you're going to say, all right, I could keep on doing this really intensive, really expensive farming for this year and end up with a tenth of the crop that I would have had. Or I can say, I'm going to go a little easier on the farming methods and just keep them maintained, but go back next year and bring the vines back. And that's what we did. Yeah. So we had no 22. Well, thank you.
Well,
thank you.
Oh, sorry. One more question here. Of all of the different varietals of wine we've got in this lovely building, what would be your signature?
I would say Chardonnay. Yeah.
And we all know the reason why, because he's already talked about it, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's that, but it's such a good grape for this area. And it's one that we've known has been a good grape for this area for a long time. Kathy's parents and Kathy grew up in Niagara-on-the-Lake, and just they were on the edge of the bench. And just down the hill from them was a vineyard owned by Vince Leonard. And Vince Leonard was one of the original partners in Chateau des Charmes. And he was one of the first vinifera growers. And one of his first vines that he planted was a Chardonnay that he put in amongst the Niagara, which is a Labrusca grape, because he wanted to know if it would survive or thrive, if it got the same kind of minimal attention that these very hardy Labrusca vines did. And it did. He showed me the vine, I was probably 20 years old when I looked at it with him, and it was fine. So I was really quite amazed at that. And so that was what allowed him to make a decision to plant more. And Chardonnay was one of those first varieties that was sort of, all right, it survives, what can we do? I've got a bottle in my cellar of 1957 Bright's Chardonnay. It was called Pinot Chardonnay. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I wonder what that tastes like.
Well, I'm not trying it. No way.
Well, you just let it sit there for years?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's in my cellar.
Well, why not, right?
Yeah.
That's really cool, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I could keep a wine for that long. But, Well, I just want to say thank you to all of you guys for coming here today, for being our first ever live audience for the podcast, which is really exciting for us. I hope you guys enjoyed listening. And you can visit our show notes for a recap of all the wines that we've talked about. And
Yeah, and come more than once.
Yep, definitely. We'll come more than once. I can make the jokes, mister. Don't forget to like and follow Spill the Wine, by the way. We do have our website, which is spillthewine.ca. You can go on there, and there's a list of all of the different episodes that we've had, along with photos and the like, and a little bit of back information on everything. You can also follow us on socials. On Facebook, we are Spill the Wine Podcast. On Instagram, spillthewine_podcast. So you can always send us a message. We do have an email address as well, contact@spillthewine.ca. So if you have ideas of wineries that you think that we should visit, we would be welcome. We're happy to hear about that. If you have any comments or suggestions, again, we're happy to hear about that. We just love giving a spotlight to wineries like you guys, like Wending, and hearing your stories and just spreading the word about how wonderful the Niagara region is, particularly the Bench, which is near and dear to my heart. So thank you so much for coming here tonight. Thank you for being a part of the podcast. And Ron? thank you for all of your knowledge and for your humor. Cheers. And
Thanks.
we'll see you guys again next
Thanks,
time.
Andrea.